Hey guys, Jesse here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Master Grade Hi-Nu Gundam. So I'm sure the question on everybody's mind is the Verka better than this kit? And the answer is, it depends. So, this kit's a little older, the Verka's newer, the Verka design is much different than this one, but I don't believe it's the definitive version of the Hi-Nu. It really depends on what you're looking for, and we're going to just talk about it right now. So let's first talk about what I did to the kit. Because I lack any imagination, I went ahead and did a weathering job as I always do. I did repaint all the silver on this kit, so all the silver you see up and down this kit has been repainted from the nasty, ugly shampoo silver that Bandai molds their silver in to a really nice metallic silver that actually has some flake in it. So that's the only thing I repainted. I did paint the eyes and the head camera there because I feel like the stickers just look really bad. I did paint some of the details here. As you can see, I painted the pistons here. And this kit kind of has a gimmick that when you do a double knee bend, see if I can do it right now, this knee will sort of open up and reveal some piping and some pistons, and I went ahead and painted that. And I painted the pipes in the back here. So did a little bit of detail painting, a little bit of repainting. But overall, it's just a normal weathering job I usually do with some rust effects and paint chips and some streaking. So aside from that, nothing else has been painted on this kit. And yeah, so that's all I did for the paint job. Now, talking about the looks of the kit, this is where it really differs from the Verka. I really love the look of this kit. For me, this really looks like a heroic looking suit. It kind of has the it's a lot more slender than the Verka, but it still has a sense of presence. Like, this is a big hulking machine of war. The differences between it and the Verka are the wings, the funnels here on the Verka are way bigger. The fuel tanks are enormous, and the whole design of this stabilizer on the Verka is absolutely ridiculous. It's like Dragon Momoko levels of redesign, with just sharp edges and yada yada. The legs are also incredibly more bulky on the Verka, but everything else is pretty similar. So the chest, the arms, and the head are more or less the same sort of bulk and size and design as the Verka. So, also, the color obviously is very different. The Verka has this purple, white, and like yellow scheme kind of going on, while this one is blue, white, and silver. And I much prefer the color scheme of this. It's very different. It has no yellow, which is already a winner in my book. I hate Gundam yellow. It's just a really nice change in terms of the normality. So of your expected Gundam colors, you don't really expect this much blue and white and no yellow. So it just looks great in my book, and the proportions are really nice too. I actually do prefer it to be a little more lanky, and I much prefer the funnels and the size of the fuel tanks. I think on the Verka are just a little too over the top, but to each their own. This kit is also a lot more asymmetrical than I thought. The chest is asymmetrical for one, as you can see there. The arms are asymmetrical, as you can see. They're different. And the back skirt, for whatever reason, is asymmetrical. I don't know if this was a molding error or what, but as you can see, there's like this circle here, and there's no circle here. So I don't know what's up with that. In the manual, they both have a circle, so I might just have like a molding defect or something, but if not, those are asymmetrical. So it's very cool. I also really love the decals on this kit. I love how they look and the placement of them. I just don't think there's enough of them. As you can see, you got really nice ones for like Londo Bell, 01, and like the Amuro Ray unicorn symbol thing. Some EFSF symbols also on the weapons, as we'll see later, but not a lot of like warning stickers and decals. So yeah, unfortunately, it's a little, for something that's supposed to be so big, it's a little barren on the warning decals, which is kind of upsetting. One other thing is they want you to put this silver sticker around this blue area, like on the inside of this white part, and I was not going to do that. It looked really, really dumb, in my opinion, so I just left that out. Aside from that sticker, there's no other foil stickers or missing color apps that you have to apply. It's all there in plastic. So in terms of the build was it was fun, but it wasn't very satisfying because this kit, for whatever reason, relies on a lot of pieces going together with tabs. So, usually when you build a kit, it's like hole and peg. Super simple. With this kit, for whatever reason, they decided to have like slots and tabs. So pieces would kind of fit into each other like this, or like fit into each other like, like this or something. And there were no like satisfying clicks or snaps. So you just kind of have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until the piece felt like it was far enough together, and then you could lay like another piece down. And if the previous pieces were together just fine, then you'd have no problem. Otherwise, you'd have to like push it all together until they all fit well. And that was almost apparent on the entirety of the build. So while the build was still fun, it's still fun to build Gunpla, right? It just wasn't all that satisfying. So not a lot of nice clicky noises that I like. So talking about articulation, there's just one area on this kit that really suck. Okay, well, I guess there's two areas on this kit that really suck, but let's just talk about them real quick. So the arms, as you can see, I think you can immediately see the problem probably. There's no lower arm swivel, so you just have this double bend, and that's it. So there's no way to bend or to turn this bottom forearm, which sucks because the shield can only plug onto the back of the arm, and it's really awkward to pose, simply because the shield is so huge, which we'll show later. But I wish there was a lower arm swivel. Aside from that, it's all good. Fingers are the 3-1 and the thumb, but there is a peg, so this kit was designed far after there were no pegs, so it holds the weapons just fine. There's no chest, so there's just a chest swivel here, waist swivel, so it's not going side to side. That's the one problem. There is an ab crunch, but there's sort of like a locking mechanism on the back you have to undo, and mine is kind of like stuck. I think just by design it's supposed to be quite stiff. So the cockpit does open, just to show. I think technically the blue part is supposed to slide up, but for whatever reason they decided just to have the whole chest kind of open up, which is kind of, a little ridiculous. And I did paint the pilot in there. You're not going to be able to see him, but that's how the cockpit opens. It's kind of insane. But anyways, it can go up higher, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get it to go along the hinge up there. The legs are really, really good on this kit when it comes to articulation. They're on this sort of track, as you might be able to see in there. And whenever you bend or move the leg forward, it'll move along that track naturally. So when I go to move it back, it'll go along that track. When I go to move it forward, it'll go along that track. And when you sort of bend the knee, it kind of naturally wants to do it. And it works really well for this kit. And aside from that, the articulation is really good. The wings will go in and out and swivel, and they'll pretty much go wherever you want. And these funnels will go up and down, and they'll go back and forth. These funnels, we'll talk about them a little bit later, but they're not really well connected onto this whole assembly. So, and one thing is, you've been seeing it standing here in the background. Well, that's all a lie. It's been leaning on the back of my photo tent here. For whatever reason, these like pods and funnels are just too heavy for this kit. Once you take these off, it can stand up just fine. But once you put them on, it falls over. And this kit doesn't feel flimsy. It doesn't feel loose. It feels incredibly sturdy, but for whatever reason, the funnels are just ever so slightly too heavy for this kit. Now let's move on to accessories. So we'll start off with my favorite accessory, and that's the shield. And I think I did a pretty good job on this shield in terms of the weathering. Just looks really real, I feel. So super cool shield. As you can see, it is absolutely enormous. Comes up almost past the upper chest of the Hi-Nu, and there it goes. And the way you attach this shield, I really don't like it because it's going to scrape paint if you decide to paint this kit. You can see there's two like holes here. This thing has tabs, and you just hook it on like that. Now you can see the inherent problem of posing this shield, and the connection isn't all that great. See the inherent problem of posing the shield. It sticks out really far from the Gundam for one, but to get the shield kind of up and down, you have to twist the arm around and do that. And that looks really silly from any angle except from here. So if you were able to attach the shield to the side of the arm, this would be no problem, but that isn't the case, unfortunately. Next is the Bazooka. So here's the Bazooka. Super cool Bazooka. Really love the design of this thing. It's just two pieces of white connected together along with some silver pieces connected on. So there is a huge seam line going up and down this whole white part, but it's super easy to get rid of. Actually, I forgot to mention, there are seams on this kit. The ones that are really essential are the fuel tanks and these sort of upper wing parts. There's the seam line running up and down this blue part and this white part. So you should be able to fix them. I fix them really easily. They're really flat, round parts, so they're really easy to fix. But in any case, so here's the Bazooka. As you can see, there's a slot going all up and down this part, and this hinges, so holds the Bazooka incredibly well. There's actually no camera sticker that comes with the kit, so you have to paint in the camera yourself, but that's also incredibly easy. And it's not hollow. So what I did was I painted it black on the inside here just to make it give the illusion that it's hollow. So, and I painted like little rivets on here and did a little bit of detail painting. As you can see, some gold and silver on the white part there, but holds it incredibly well. The ammo clip or magazine, whatever it's called, does come out, and you actually have a missile in there ready to go. So, yeah, super cool. Next, we get to my least favorite accessory. That's the beam rifle, and this beam rifle is ugly. This is so ugly, I didn't even bother to weather it or decal it or line it. What is this thing? It looks like a freaking like water gun, like a freaking super soaker. Yeah, it's just so bad looking. There's no camera on it for one, which is silly, unless that's supposed to be the camera. This looks like a weird like snorkel snout thing. Yeah, this isn't good. This is not good at all. There's like a little tab that comes out here so you can mount it on the back, but there's no tab to like pull out with your fingernail, so yeah, I don't know. He holds it just fine, but I'm not posing my kit with this beam rifle any day, anytime. Next, you get some beam sabers. So there's a beam saber stored in each of his upper wing thingies and one in his arm. It's actually really cool. There's this whole like hinging mechanism, and then like the beam saber sort of presented to you. That beam saber can only hold one beam effect part, and the ones in his upper capsules here, I just pulled one out here, as you can see, actually has a hole in the bottom and the top, because what you get are two of these long beam effect parts and two of these short beam effect parts, because the Hi-Nu has this sort of Darth Maul thing going on. So this is how that looks. Looks super cool, and he holds onto them just fine. So I'm just going to keep this like this for the spinning base shots. But again, you get two of each of those effect parts. And it's super cool that they're blue. We don't see a lot of blue beam sabers. We need to bring back blue beam saber. And then, of course, you get the. Oh, actually, let me just mention real quick. Here's the pilot figure. I went ahead and painted it. Kind of proud of it, if it'll focus. Yeah. Good old Amuro Ray. So, you get that. Then you get a bunch of these effect parts. You get 6 of these like jet effect parts with little white pieces you can put in there, and that's for the funnels, of course. So each of these funnels come out, and again, they're not secured in there great, but here's one of them, and you can transform it into the sort of funnel mode by sort of finagling it and convincing it to come down this way. And now this is a fin funnel, and then you can attach this effect part onto the back like that. And yeah, that's that. But you also get a sheet of these funnel like effect parts, and these look really cool. Really love how these look. And you get 12 in total, and it's because the way these work is there's little holes in here for little tabs in here to go in. Like that. And it takes a little bit. You have to line them up perfectly, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So once you got lined up, you push them back into place. These aren't the easiest things in the world to work with, but they look really good. So now they're connected. That's a deployed fin funnel, and is that not sweet looking? But of course, this is worthless without any sort of way to get them in the air. So what you get 6 of these clear rods that you can bend, and this is just one I pre-bent already. They all come straight, and now you have a way to float them up in the air, but still useless, right? So they actually give you this base. It's pretty much only meant for the Hi-Nu Gundam. It has the Amuro Ray A there, so that's really cool. But this connection point here is unique to the Hi-Nu Gundam, so it can really only hold that up. There is a spot under the crotch that you can remove for regular action base, but honestly, this base is pretty dang good. So you have these little spots all over the kit that open up, or all over the base, excuse me, that open up, where you can stick in the rods for the funnels. So I'll just go ahead and stick one in here, and that's how that sort of looks. The weight of the funnel does make it droop a bit, and I would suggest just bending at one point and letting gravity kind of handle the rest. But you can also feed the rod into the centers of, there you go, I'm gonna have to pick up the camera, but of the stand here, and now it can kind of fly over the shoulder of the Gundam. So it's really cool. It works really well. The fin funnels are a little too heavy for the rods, but I think if you do what I said and just bend it once and let gravity handle the rest, you'll be able to get the sort of pose and configuration you want. But yeah, and that does it for the accessories. So you get a ton of accessories, really good effect parts, and really it's all pretty good for this Gundam. I just can't say enough good things about it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed weathering it. I think it came out well, and I really love the design of the Hi-Nu. So if you're a fan of how this looks, don't let its age deter you, and don't let the fact that there's a Verka deter you from getting it. It's definitely still really good for a kid of its age, and yeah, I think it deserves to be recognized amongst the fact that the Verka exists. So if you like the looks of this kit, just get it. If you like the looks of the Verka, just get the Verka. They're both really great. So that's all I have for this review. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.